WIBTA for divorcing my wife for accusing me of cheating on her. Me 44M, my wife Grace 42F. Fake names for obvious reasons, same with throwaway account. Married for 13 years, together for 16. Quick backstory. I met Grace about the time I got out of the military. It was a medical discharge. I met her while I was at the hospital for surgery. She was a nurse on the floor I was staying on. Single mom, divorced for a couple of years. I left the military, went back to school, and now I work from home as a software engineer. More or less. We started dating. Took it slow the first couple of years because of her daughter, Maya, who was 5 at the time. Grace is still a nurse and Maya goes to college. I would have said till last month that our marriage was pretty solid. We've had arguments. I admit I was kind of shit at housekeeping when we first moved in together because I was not used to how much kids tear things up around the house. But other than that, it was good. No step-parent issues. I had an active role in Maya's life because her own father lives overseas for work. We went on dates. Intimacy has always been great. We wanted kids, but it wasn't in the cards for us. Honestly, I'm a bit blindsided. I've had friends who were blindsided by divorce, but I never understood how. Usually there were problems that they glossed over and then suddenly their wives would leave them and they just didn't see it coming. But the rest of us could see it coming from a mile away. So here I am saying the same thing, and maybe I just missed something huge. The past few months Grace has been more stressed than usual. Ever since COVID, she's been burnt out, and I asked her multiple times if she wanted to quit her job, at least for a couple of years. I thought the burnout was coming to a head. She was withdrawn, angry. She snapped at me constantly. She ridiculed Maya over everything. But she's my wife. She was traumatized by the pandemic, and both Maya and I were understanding. We would do okay with just my salary, so last month I sat her down to suggest again that she quit and take some time off to heal. Then everything blew up. She started yelling at me that she knew what I was doing. She's known for months. She has proved. I didn't know what she was talking about at first, but it didn't take long to realize she was accusing me of infidelity. I can't lie, I was angry as hell. I opened my phone, handed it to her, told her to go through it. I went and got my laptop, unlocked it, told her to go through that. The whole time she's still shouting at me about some other woman. I don't have traditional social media accounts. I'm on Lobsters, Hacker News, and I have a Reddit account. I told her to check everything. There's no secret Facebook or Instagram or whatever. No messages from anyone. I opened Discord, even Slack, everything I could think of, but she wouldn't even look at it. She just got angrier and angrier, and then she picked up my laptop and threw it. That's when I had enough and left. I went to my parents' house. All the while, Grace was texting and calling and leaving more and more unhinged messages about this woman she knows I'm with. When I got to my parents' house, I called her once and told her I needed a few days because I was too angry to handle talking to her. My sister called the next morning and told her Grace had called her multiple times as well to see if I was really there. After a few days I called Grace to talk, and at first the conversation was productive. She apologized for throwing the laptop, but she said I made her so angry because I was being so calm. I told her I was not calm because I was being accused of cheating on my wife and I was furious, but it was either try to talk it out or start shouting, which I didn't think was a good idea. Then she got angry, told me I was twisting her words, and things fell apart quickly. She started going on and on again that she knew I was cheating. She had proof. I asked her what proof because I would like to see it. I don't remember how we got there, but she said she was going to send everything to the lawyer, and I said fine, send a copy to mine because this was going nowhere. She got really quiet after that and asked if I was serious, and I said I wasn't going to stay in a marriage where my wife thinks I cheated on her but won't tell me why. We ended the call there, and I've been at my parents' house since. My dad is on my side. My mom thinks Grace is just having a rough time and that we can talk this through. My sister is pissed she got dragged into it, so she thinks we're both assholes. And Maya is miserable because she's being torn between me and her mom. I feel like maybe I jumped the gun and should have stayed calmer. Edit. My morning meetings are finally over and I need to concentrate on my job, so I'm going to be logging out for the day. I'm going to talk to my mom to see if she'll talk to Grace, suggest therapy, couples therapy, etc. I believe those of you who suggested missing reasons are correct. Something is causing this. I just don't know if it's something I've done, stress in her life, or if it's full-on projection. I don't think it is, but you never know. I'll assure Maya again that she has a place here no matter what. As far as I'm concerned, she's my daughter, and of course she's got a place here if she needs it. However, I also won't try to pressure her considering that's her mom, and I know this is pulling her in 2 ways. Second edit. Okay, so I took a quick break and thought I'd come back and read a couple comments, but there are way too many to read. But there is an overall theme to them, so I'll try to quickly address them here. 01. Someone asked if I was cheating. I understand why you asked that. I never came out and said in the post, but let me assure you, no, I'm not cheating. I never have. Granted, those are just words and I'm sure some will think that I'm lying, but I love my wife. I never wanted to cheat. I'm not a saint. I've been attracted to people. I think Salma Hayek is gorgeous, but the thought of cheating has never crossed my mind. 2. A lot of people think she's cheating on me. Again, I don't think so. She's home every night at the same time. She doesn't hide away her devices. Could there be someone at work? Yes. Do I think she's cheating? No, but as many pointed out, those are famous last words. 3. Talking about divorce, staying calm. I have PTSD. I've worked a lot in therapy over the years to process intense emotions. It's why I stay calm. Not because I am, but because if if I don't then I get overwhelmed. The talk to my lawyer comment was one of those moments I didn't process well. I don't think it's a good idea to divorce her after over a decade together because of this past month. On the other hand, I know that because it's not a safe place for me mentally, I'll stay at my parents' until we get this resolved. Or could it be hormones? Yes, it could. However, my wife is already taking hormones because of a medical procedure she had when she was in her early 30s. Like I said, wasn't in the cards to have kids. She has to see the doctor usually every 6 months to check her levels. Her last appointment was in March. However, her mood changes started before that. 5. Mental health issues. This is what I think it is personally. Like I said, Grace has been building up to a burnout for a while now. These mood changes started a while ago. It's why I brought up taking time off of work. It's why I brought it up again last month when she blew up at me. I think this is stress. It's why I haven't actually contacted a lawyer, because I hope my marriage can be saved. I think I just wanted reassurance from a neutral third party because I'm so far out of my depth here. 6. To those who say don't get my mom involved. My mom already is. She and Grace are incredibly close. She's called Grace every day to check on her. Grace has no contact with her own family, so I'm not really involving mom as much as I'm just asking her to suggest marriage counseling to her the next time she calls. I sure as hell don't want to get some other party involved in this, so I'm not going to contact a friend to talk to my wife. 7. I haven't been no contact with my wife since I left. I probably should have clarified that. She messages me. Sometimes it's the same silly stuff we've always talked about, like random memes she's found or crap her coworkers are doing. And sometimes it's her begging me to just tell her the truth. I'm exhausted mentally from this all, and at the end of my rope. I've suggested therapy a couple of times already, but that's gotten nowhere. Hopefully mom bringing it up might help. 8. Why the throwaway? Because my coworkers also have Reddit accounts, and I don't want them to see this post. They might, but hopefully software guy in his 40s with a wife in nursing is generic enough to American audiences that they won't know it's me. But if it's on my actual account, they definitely will. No one at work knows, and I'd like to keep it that way. I think that's everything. I want to add though, please don't disparage my wife. I'm upset over this because my wife is a great woman. She's smart, she's funny, she's sweet, she's been a wonderful mother, and that's why I've been worried the past few months about her, because this is so out of character.
How do I'm 45, change the power dynamic with my wife? F45, after being married 20 plus years. Throwaway because wife is on Reddit. TLDR, how do I change so that I only put the same effort into the relationship that my wife does? My wife and I have been together for 26 years, married for 23. We have 4 kids, teenage to adult. I'm coming to the realization that my wife doesn't really like me. I know she loves me, but it seems like I'm the last thing on her list most of the time. I, on the other hand, can't stop thinking about her and ways to make her life easier or more enjoyable. I feel like somewhere along the line something changed, and now I'm more of a chore to her than anything else. I try not to be too sensitive or read too much into things, but it's pretty hard not to pick up on the clues. A few examples. Sexy time, while it still happens, is only when I initiate, and when I do, it's pretty much the standard pillow princess kind of deal. I try to do all the things she likes, and in return, I get nothing. We've had conversations about the things I like lingerie, but I never get that. If she's on her period, she never offers to do anything. It's just quit for a week. She doesn't ever have to do anything, of course. I would just think that she would want to, at least sometimes, if for no other reason than it would make me happy. She also has become quite addicted to social media. She spends most of her time scrolling Facebook and Instagram. It's the first thing she does when she wakes up, spends 30 to 45 minutes scrolling before even getting out of bed. I can be laying right next to her the whole time, and not so much as a hello. It's the only thing she does anymore after she gets home from work. No other hobbies or interests. They've all dropped off along the way. If I say anything about it, she gets very defensive and I drop it. Her eyes light up and she gets pretty happy to talk to all the kids, which is awesome. I just wish I had the same effect. If I didn't actively engage her in conversation, we could go all day or longer without talking. She pretty much has zero interest in anything I like. As a matter of fact, as soon as I get into something that she might like, it very quickly turns into something she doesn't. If I do stop talking to her, then I'm the one being moody and grumpy, which just gives her more reason to not want to interact with me. I've tried to talk to her about these things, and she sometimes makes me think I might have gotten through to her, but nothing ever changes. That just hurts worse because I get my hopes up thinking I might have finally had a breakthrough, only to see nothing change. I'm not perfect. I know I have my flaws and faults, but she genuinely is the most important thing to me, and I just want to feel like I'm getting that in return. I doubt she's cheating and divorce is off the table, so how do I go through the rest of my life caring a bit less and change that power dynamic so that I don't feel like we have an 80-20 relationship? Sorry for the long post. I even left out a bunch of things. I'll answer any questions and provide more details if people need them.
Why does my 41F partner, 46M, refuse to give me access to household security cameras? We've been together 8 years, lived together for 6, share a child and a home. We moved to a new house with a yard about 3 years ago, and he loves this house more than anything. He's put security cameras all around the exterior of the home, pointing in all directions, and even has one in the garage, and they're motion activated and send the recording to the cloud. At least one of them has the ability to record sound. He's away for work for extended periods of time, 1 to 3 weeks usually, and recently Recently, after noticing our new camera outside, I mentioned I'd like to also have access to the recording since I'm home alone with our child, and what if I hear something etc. while he's overseas and I can't see what's going on outside. We live in a safe neighborhood in a small town, to my knowledge. When he talks about it, there's mostly just wildlife caught on these cameras such as bear, deer, cougars, and neighbors walking their dogs, etc., or someone coming to the door to drop off package. He refuses to give me access and says that it would just complicate things and we'd end up fighting over it or some weird reason. It honestly doesn't make sense to me. He can see my every move via these cameras, and if I had access I'd feel better about that. But he refuses. We have a front door keypad instead of a typical lock with key. I also learned about 2 years after moving into our home that he uses a different door code than me and my daughter. He says there's one main one, the one he uses, and one for everyone else, basically my daughter and I. He can see when the codes have been used each time. There's a log that's kept. My first impressions of both of these scenarios are feelings of distrust and confusion. Maybe I'm sensing that he doesn't trust me and I'm picking up on that. Confusion because who the hell thinks this way? What's going on in his mind? But it stresses me out and I'd prefer to believe he's just being cautious and protective of THEHOESE, not controlling of M. Curious to know how this comes across to others.